Hello everyone, Sister Josephine is here with you once more to deal with class 9 and 10 English 2 Merchant of Venice. Today we are going to see the explanation of Act 1, Scene 1. Before we begin, let us know the theme. Antonio's melancholy and Bassanio's need for money to woo Portia. And it is also important to know where the scene is taking place. Here, the scene 1 is taking place in the street of Venice. Let us go with Act 1, Scene 1. Here enter Antonio, Salarino, and Salanio. Antonio says, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me, and you say it wearies you. But how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff it's made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn. And such want with sadness makes me that I have much ado to know myself." Here, Antonio says that, to tell the truth, I do not know why I am sad. I do not know the reason for my sadness. And this sadness makes me tired, and you say that you are also tired. That means my sadness makes me tired, and the same thing is making you also tired. But I do not know how I got it, or from where I got it, how I found it, and what is it made up of, what is the origin of this sadness. I am yet to learn. I have not yet found the reason for my sadness or where it has come from. Such want with sadness makes me that I have much due to know myself. Want with sadness means sadness without any reason, and he says that I have much ado to know myself means I find very difficult in recognizing myself. This sadness, because of this sadness, he finds difficult to recognize himself. That's what he means. Now Salarino replies, "Your mind is tossing on the ocean, there where your Argus is, with portly sail, like seigneurs and rich burghers on the flood, or as it were the pigeons of the sea, do overpeer the petty traffickers that courtesy to them, do them reverence, as they fly by them with their oven wings." He means that your mind is focused only on the ocean where your merchant ships are sailing, like rich, important people parading on the sea so majestically. Now, when his rich ships are so gloriously sailing on the sea, they tower over the little trade boats that pass by, sailing along, and as if the little boats bow before the greatness of your merchant ships. He means that the small boats which are sailing along bow before the merchant ships of this great person. So in order he shows that so great and so glorious is the merchant ship of Antonio. To that Salanio is replying, "Believe me, sir, had I such ventures forth, the better part of my affections would be with my hopes abroad. I should be still plucking the grass to know where it sits the wind, peering in maps for ports and piers and roads, and every object that might make me fear misfortune to my ventures out of doubt would make me sad." He says that, "Believe me, sir, if I were involved in the trade business like yours, most of my mental energy I would be spending in thinking about my ships that are on the sea. I would be pulling out the grass and throw it on the air to check on which direction the wind is blowing so that I may be able to recognize the direction of my ship that is sailing on the ocean. Also, I would stretch out the maps and look for the ports and the piers and the roads that possibly my ship would be sailing. And every object that might make me fear misfortune to my ventures out of doubt would make me sad. To me, any object or any dangerous objects that come on the path of my ships, I would doubt, and it would make me fear that some misfortunes or some dangerous things might come upon my ship, and that would surely make me sad." Salarino replies, my wind cooling my broth would blow me to an ague when I thought what harm a wind too great sea might do. I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows of flats and see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand, veiling her high top lower than her ribs to kiss her burial. Should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks? Which means he says that I would get upset and feel very sad when I blow my hot soup because it would make me to think of the strong wind at the sea against my ships. He means that when he takes a hot cup of soup, when he blows it through his mouth to make it cool, he thinks or it reminds him of the wind that is blowing on the sea, and that would cause danger to his ships. I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I think of the shallows of flats and see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand. He means that when I see the hourglass, I would think of the flat shallows of sand where my ship sails, or which will cause danger to my ships. The Andrew run ground with all its riches and turned over completely destroyed. The wealthy Andrew, which was laden with lots of riches and so many precious things, was fully drowned in the sea because of the sand beds in the sea. In the same way, this misfortune might happen to my ship also. I may think of that. And if I go to the church and I see the stone constructions which is on the church, I would again think of the dangerous rocks that are on the way to my ship. That means when I go to church and sit and look at the stony building, and the stones which are in the church reminds me of the dangerous rocks that would come upon the way of my merchant ship in the sea. The same thing follows, which touching but my gentle vessel's side would scatter all her spices on the stream, enrobe the roaring waters with my silks, and in a word, but even now worth this and now worth nothing. Which means the sand or the stone that were the big rocks that are on the sea, even if it touches the side of my ship, all the rich and all the precious things that are on the ship would be scattered simply over the water, and the water will be filled or it will be covered with all the spices and other precious things and the gems that are, and it will look like the water is covered with silk cloths. And in a word, but even now worth this and now worth nothing. That means something which was very very precious in a minute before becomes worthless in a minute after. That's what. In a moment, everything changes when the precious things are mixed with the water. Shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing bechanced would make me sad? But tell not me, I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. If he says that, shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing bechanced to make me sad? If I think that such things happens to my ships, surely these things would make me sad. There is no doubt. But tell not me, I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. But he is telling that I know for very sure Antonio is sad. Why he is sad? He is still thinking of his ships or his merchandise in the sea. That's what the same type of feelings are making him to feel very sad. To that Antonio is replying, believe me, no. I thank my fortune for it. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted, not to one place, nor in my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. Therefore, my merchandise makes me not sad. Antony is replying that it's not like that. All my fortunes are not depending on one boat or in one ship that is sailing with all my things. He has got different boats, different ships sailing in different directions, and the whole year's business is not depending on this present year's income, because he was a merchant for many years, and surely he will be having plenty of experiences and plenty of income through different ways and means. So he says the current year's business is not the total income of him, but and also he has other ships and other ways. So he says that this particular ship business or this merchandise is not making him sad. To that, Salanio is replying, why then? You are in love. So he is asking that, okay, if your ships are not making you sad, are you in love? That's what he is telling. So Antonio is telling fee, which means no, he is not in love. Then Salanio says, not in love neither. Then let us say you are sad because you are not merry. And it were as easy for you to laugh and leap and say you are merry because you are not sad. What he says that he means that you say that you are not in love, okay, you are not in love, but just let us say that you are sad because you are not happy. He says that you are telling your feelings very sad. Why are you sad? Because you are not happy. Of course, obvious that when you are not happy, you will feel very sad. It would be just as easy for you to laugh and to jump around and say that you are happy because you are not sad. You means that simply you laugh and you jump around, you make merry, and you say to others that I am very happy. Why are you happy? Because you are not sad. That's what he means by these words. Now, by two-headed Janus, nature hath framed strange fellows in her time. Janus is a Roman mythology, okay, god of mythology who has two heads. Okay, the two-headed Janus, like him, okay, nature has made people of different kind. Okay, two-headed means he has the capacity to look at the past and the future. He lives in the present. That's what with one head he looks at the past, and with the other head he looks at the future, and which is not at all a common thing now, but it's strange. So nature has strange people like him also. Some that will evermore peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots at bagpiper. It means that some people are always happy. For nothing at all they are happy. It looks as if the bagpiper is playing his pipe and walking on the road, and the parrots look at the bagpiper and laugh for nothing at all. It looks that there are some people who are always happy without any reason, and other of such vinegar aspect that they will not show their teeth in a way of smile, though Nestor swear the jest be laughable. There are also some other people who will never laugh, who will never smile as if vinegar is put in their mouth, who bite their teeth and control their feelings, who will never smile. Even the Nestor swear the jest be laughable. Even it was very easy to make the Nestor, who was never laughing, by telling him the funniest joke. Even he would laugh, but this type of people would never laugh because they control their feelings. So this is what we have finished up to half of the Act 1, Scene 1. In the next class, we shall continue the same topic. Stay healthy and learn easily. Thank you.